Hey, we are live. Give people a few minutes to pile in here. We'll see if we can get this horse out the barn. Just set up over here. Um, here. All right. Now that we got that taken care of. So today's topic is Judge Mullins unaliving. Let's just recap what happened. Judge Mullins and Sheriff Mickey Steins were at lunch and they were having a discussion, nothing major. And Judge Mullins said, "Would you like to take this to my chambers?" And Mickey said, "Sure." And they got to his chambers, and Mickey needed to call his teenage daughter, and his phone would not dial. So he asked the judge, "Hey, I need to call my daughter. Can I borrow your phone?" The judge handed him his phone. "Welcome, Bolegi." Or is it Bolegi? So they got to Judge Mullins' chambers, and the sheriff was having trouble dialing his phone. For some reason, his phone would not dial. So he asked the judge, "Hey, I need to call my daughter. Can I borrow your phone?" And so the judge said, "Sure," handed him his phone. The sheriff put in his daughter's number, and the judge had the sheriff's teenage daughter's phone number saved on his phone. That didn't trip the sheriff's trigger. When the daughter answered the phone, the sheriff tossed his phone on the desk, pulled out his service revolver, and put 6 rounds in him. And I have said, why does a 55-year-old judge have the sheriff's teenage daughter's phone number saved on his phone? That just looks untoward. Like there's something going on between the sheriff or the judge and the sheriff's daughter. I'm just putting 2 and 2 together and making 4. And so the preliminary hearing was weird. The preliminary hearing, they had the lead investigator on, I call him the Keystone Cops on steroids. He didn't collect the daughter's phone. He did not collect the daughter's phone. He was just very dismissive, like, meh, we'll get around to it. Because he was asked, why didn't you collect the daughter's phone? He shrugged his shoulders. When the daughter was interviewed, she was not interviewed by a female deputy separately, which is protocol. She was interviewed in front of her mom. What is supposed to be done, I have many cops in my family, some that I've talked to about this, and they have said the female deputy is supposed to go and interview the daughter separately. The mom can be nearby in case the daughter feels she needs to talk to her, but the daughter, that she's supposed to be interviewed separately, so there's no pressure from mom to answer the questions a certain way. That was not done. They did not collect her phone. So by leaving the daughter with her phone and not collecting it, she could just delete messages. Am I right? It's just weird. And then now this week it come out that there is a civil lawsuit filed by a female inmate, two female inmates, against the judge, the sheriff, and another deputy. The other deputy had been R-ing female inmates in the judge's chambers after hours. And the one girl, he removed her home monitoring bracelet and told her, you're not going to need this where you're going, put her in jail, took the bracelet, the ankle bracelet, and put it on the judge's bench and said she ran, had her labeled a fugitive when she was in jail. So does that sound weird, Bullaggy? Oops. Let me read what Newsweek says. Where's it? Get rid of some of these ads on here. Okay, Newsweek says chilling new details emerged after a former Kentucky sheriff accused of fatally shooting a judge appeared in court for a preliminary hearing on Tuesday wearing a jail uniform and handcuffs. Sean Mickey Steins, 43, is facing first-degree M charge for allegedly shooting and killing District Judge Kevin Mullins, 54, inside the Letcher County Courthouse on September 19th. Steins, who officially retired from his position on Monday, remains behind bars at the Leslie County Detention Center. Chief Regional Judge. What the heck? What the hell was that? Oh, geez. Crying out loud. Can't have that music. Steins, who officially retired from his position Monday, remains behind bars. Clayton Stamper testified. This is the detective that I called the Keystone Cops on steroids. Clayton Stamper testified during the hearing and revealed new details uncovered during the investigation. Stamper said Steins and Mullins went out to lunch. That's what I just talked about. Meet privately in chambers. Just talked about that. Played in courtroom. Okay, now it says they finally collected her phone and sent it to a forensic lab. It's about time. Hey, Chadiggy. We are talking about the unaliving of Judge Mullins by Sheriff Mickey Steins. Defense attorney Jeremy Bartley argued that Steins was experiencing an extreme emotional disturbance when the unaliving happened. I think they've established probable cause for manslaughter first, but not M, Bartley said. Steins was first elected. That's not what I was looking for. Details. I'm looking for the civil suit. The former Kentucky sheriff was experiencing an extreme emotional disturbance when he allegedly fatally shot a judge, according to his attorney. Facing first-degree M charge for allegedly shooting and killing District Judge Mullins, 54, inside the Letcher County Courthouse. Details emerged in the case at a preliminary hearing. We just talked about that. It's Kentucky. It's Letcher County, Kentucky. It's Paintville in Pikeville area. Probable cause for manslaughter, he claimed. I'm getting down to for grand jury. Judge made a statement to Mickey about doing me to meet in Praybrook Chambers. Stamper said, I'm looking for the civil suit. So this is not all of this stuff. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay, it says the alleged shooter and the victim in the Letcher County Courthouse shooting appear in a federal lawsuit filed 2 years ago, but law enforcement has not committed on whether there's thought to be any connection between the suit and Thursday's incident. This was back in September. Sean Mickey Steins, the Letcher County Sheriff, accused of unaliving District Judge Kevin Mullins, is named as a defendant in the suit, which the plaintiff claims one of Stein's deputies, after lenient treatment in exchange for favors in encounters that took place in Mullins' chambers. The day after the shooting, attorneys filed motions for mediation to extend the deadline for fact discovery in the lawsuit. The suit centers on plaintiff Sabrina Adkins' claims that former Letcher County Deputy Sheriff Ben Fields offered her favorable treatment in exchange for favors. According to court records, Steins is named as a defendant for failing to properly train and supervise Fields and for failing to reasonably respond to reports or suspicions. Where did it go? I hate when it does that. During the visit, Fields took off Adkins' ankle monitor and told her she would no longer have to pay the associated fees, but could remain on home incarceration, the lawsuit says. The pair met at the courthouse approximately 6 times between June and December. The suit says Fields committed coercive acts, which the plaintiff did not consent to during these visits. The visits typically occurred at night before the plaintiff was scheduled to appear in court. Fields would put her ankle monitor back on so she would appear compliant with her home incarceration. Mullins is not accused of any wrongdoing in the federal lawsuit, but Adkins alleges in the lawsuit that the meetings between her and Fields occurred in Mullins' chambers. You're telling me that those incidents happened in the judge's chambers and the judge don't know about it, even though it was at night? Attorney Bethany Baxter, counsel for Adkins, confirmed that Steins was deposed in the ongoing lawsuit Monday for more than 4 hours. Baxter said Tynes claimed during a recent deposition that he wasn't aware of the allegations in the case until the lawsuit was filed in 2022. A motion for a 60-day extension of the case's fact discovery deadline, originally set for Sunday, was filed and granted Friday, according to court records. The tragic events and yet unknown exchange between Sheriff Steins and Judge Mullins, which may be relevant to this matter, were reasons cited in the request. Oh, excuse me. Steins fired Fields February 2nd, 2022 for conduct unbecoming an officer. And that's all of that article. Oh. But it's just bizarre that all of that went on in the judge's chambers. The sheriff should have known that his deputy was doing that, because there were reports made that that was going on. See if there's anything else. Oh, goodness. This is just bizarre. You know, I've said that 2 and 2 make 4. So why did the judge have the sheriff's teenage daughter's phone number saved on his phone? And what did she say when she answered the phone? Because the sheriff did not drop his phone and pull the weapon until she answered the phone. So something she said when she answered the phone, thinking it was the judge calling her, tripped his trigger, so to speak. And he pulled his weapon and put 6 rounds in the judge, 2 at close range to the head. It's just bizarre. So much stuff going on in the legal aspect. Huh. So let's see. So I think in the YSL trial, I think it's going to end up being not guilty on the murder charges. Yeah, there's something not right there. You know, there's two young ladies. One, that Sabrina, when the judge in the neighboring county heard what this deputy did to her, he wept on the bench and told her, "I'm sorry. I'm just so sorry," as he cried. It takes a lot to make a judge cry at the bench. There are reports, I couldn't find them just now, but they've likely been scrubbed, that said that he assaulted her, ripped her clothes off, drug her through the courthouse at night naked, threw her in jail, and then put her ankle monitor on the judge's bench the next morning and said she ran. Got her labeled as a fugitive when he had her in jail. And that was stuff was reported to the sheriff, and the sheriff didn't do anything about it. Sheriff now says, "Oh, I didn't know nothing about it." But she filed reports. Just very disturbing. Very disturbing. You know, the whole scene that led up to that was just, you know, I would say disturbing. Hints of impropriety between a judge and the sheriff's teenage daughter, even though the family says, "Oh, no, 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 there's nothing going on between the judge and the daughter." Well, what did she say when she answered the phone? That won't come out until the trial. The trial is going to be in the spring. But the lead investigator, he said that it wasn't his responsibility to interview witnesses, that he just gathered up the reports and submitted reports. And it wasn't his responsibility to gather evidence, that it's the crime scene tech's responsibility to gather evidence. And that was, he was Kentucky State Police. Just something is just not right about that whole situation. You know, and I've said, well, why does the judge have the teenage daughter's phone number saved on his phone? Why didn't the sheriff's phone work and the judge's phone did work? Something really off about the whole situation. So let's talk a little bit about the YSL trial. I think that I really feel like they're leaning towards not guilty for Yak, because they asked to see the video of which car Yak got into. Yak got into the Bonneville, the white Bonneville. The video shows Yak's car drive up, park at the gas pump. He gets out, he walks inside. Then the silver Infinity pulls up, like Yak's car is pointed this way at the pump. The silver Infiniti, or Jack's car is here. The silver Infiniti pulls up and parks on this side, on the, what would be the right side of the pump. Jack comes out of the gas station, walks over to the Infiniti, chats with the driver. He never gets in, walks over and talks to the driver in the silver car, and then he goes back and gets in the passenger side of the Pontiac. While he's walking back to the Pontiac, the silver car pulls off, or the Infiniti pulls off. And so this is my estimation that it was Woody and Threat in the silver Infiniti, because Woody rented a silver Infiniti. I would call it gray, but, and that they gave Woody immunity. And he said in that uh, ex parte meeting, I did these crimes. He wanted to plead the fifth. They gave him immunity so that he couldn't. That's just dirty. And I heard uh, on Wednesday that both Hilton and Love have uh, been referred to the board, the ethics board. So what do you guys think? What's on your thoughts? Oh, let's see. If we can do a poll. Supposed to be able to do a poll here. Where did they put it? Yeah. So what do you guys think? I just I just feel like they're leaning towards not guilty on the M charges, but they're looking for a lesser offense, something minor. That's just the vibe that I got on Wednesday. Just feel like something was, the way they asked Doug about the watch. They wanted to know if it was his client's watch or if he said the watch, which he had said the watch. So what case would you guys like for us to cover next? I've I've done some research on the Moscow, Idaho college student killings. That's a tragic thing. 3 young girls and one of the girls' boyfriends was unalived by Jeffrey Koberger. Well, we have to say allegedly. And I want every defendant to get a fair trial. His lawyer, Ann Taylor, I don't like her. She's a complainer. She complained and complained and complained and got the change of venue. This new judge at the hearing last month, he told them, do not file a bunch of motions, file them one at a time. She filed 12 motions asking for all of the evidence to be dismissed. The judge denied all of her motions, told her the court does not appreciate the volume of motions that you have filed. That can't be good, right? Okay, they set the trial date in the Moscow, Idaho case for August. Goodness. See, in that case, Kaylee Gonzalez had, had been complaining of a stalker for several months, and the police wouldn't do nothing about it. They told her, take pictures of his car. It was a white Elantra. She would take a picture of the car, and they said, well, we need a picture of him behind the wheel, and also we need a picture of his license plate number. So that's what I have for y'all today. I hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving and that you have a good weekend. Or, yeah. And we'll see you on Monday for the YSL trial. Bye now.